Binance is a cryptocurrency exchange platform that lists more than 350 cryptocurrencies globally. In addition to cryptocurrency trading, it offers several services that actually enhance the experience of users and blockchain developers. But in a significant twist or move aimed at upholding fiscal responsibility and preserving the economic integrity of the nation Nigeria, the federal government has taken legal action against Binance, a prominent cryptocurrency exchange platform. These charges, formally lodged at the Federal High Court in Abuja, were announced by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the FIRS. Join us in the next phase of the show as we look into these charges charged against Binance. You're welcome. The show is Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I'm your host, Odiawa AI, and with me on the show I've got Do well to follow us across various social media platforms. Join us in the next phase of the show. You're welcome back to the show. Pelumi, you're an economic analyst, truth be told, no doubt about that. We'll first of all begin with the progression of money. From the initial phase, we had trade by barter before it transcended to cowrie phase. From the cowrie phase to the Manila phase. From the Manila phase, we had the coins. And from the coins, we now had the legal tender, which is the paper notes. Now, from the paper notes, we've now had digital currencies, which of course are traded upon our forex platforms. Now, no doubt about that, we have different types of cryptocurrency platforms or banks. We have Binance, which is actually the subject matter now. We have Luno, just to mention a few. Now, this issue of the federal government attacking Binance. Initially, if we recall, in the early phases of 2022, during the Buhari administration, there was a clampdown on cryptocurrency, February to be precise, where cryptocurrency was totally scrapped out. Why? Because there were some discrepancies or anomalies. Now, this legal action now has been taken based on the FIRS Act of Section 40, that they have refused or deliberately refused to remit taxes, making the federal government now take up charges against them. Why has this actually taken so long?
It's been a long time coming. The federal government has been looking for ways of making money. Start from February 2022 up until last year, August. The federal government made not less than 1 trillion naira from Google, from Facebook, from Netflix. Not less than 1 trillion naira. So the federal government is seeing this as an avenue to make some money. And to see that Binance, this time when naira doesn't have a steady value, it's a critical point to talk about them. Because it looked like the culprit this time around. Many years ago, it was Abuja FX. But because of the situation we found ourselves so far so good, we're saying, what company has played a major role? And Binance itself has not really helped issues in that over $200 billion went through that platform in 2023. And if you talk about that with respect to Naira, let me give you the analysis. The analysis is this. When people don't have trust in the economy, what they do is sometimes they tend to buy cryptocurrencies and save their money in that form. In that the currency that Binance has pegged its operation is on dollars. So when the people don't have confidence in the economy, they tend to buy cryptocurrency. That means they have to convert their money to dollars and buy cryptocurrencies and save their money on the platform. So it then creates a lot of demand here in this space, creates a lot of demand, which whenever demand is high, the price will go up. So the federal government sees Binance as an agent of destabilizing our naira so far. Other issues is that they said they've evaded taxes. In other words, that they've intentionally decided not to pay tax so far so good. Or something else, the federal government is also saying that there has been money laundering, in that some persons who have made their money illegally have been able to buy cryptocurrencies on Binance, thereby evading systems, because there's an amount you cannot save that can come into your account if you have your money saved in any of the commercial banks in Nigeria. So this is the issue we have on ground, Odiawa.
Okay, you made mention of other mega companies which have actually been remitting tax to the federal government. We mentioned the likes of Microsoft, Google, Facebook, just Netflix, to mention a few. Now, Binance will have sister companies also which operate with the likes of Luno. We have Patricia, which is sponsoring Big Brother or sponsored Big Brother once upon a time. Won't these companies also be found wanting or culpable?
Well, I think it's just to call out the elephant in the room. I think first is to deal with the big guy, and then the other guys will fall in line. Sit up, because the issue the federal government is saying is that they're saying that first you must bear in mind that it's a way to make money. Binance was found culpable in the US, and Binance agreed to pay not less than $4 billion in the US.
I'm still coming to that. Why? Because it seems to be a racist thing or major world power thing. Now, moving over to the court's order. Now, the interim order was granted by the EFCC based on the special investigation team from the National Security Advisors platform or office. Now, my question now is, with this court order now, which has been served to Binance on this particular issue, it has actually dictated an arrest. Subsequently, following the escape of this arrest of the Binance executive, how porous can Nigeria ever get? It's sad enough that the borders are porous. Is it that we don't have respect for our even security agencies? It shows now the lapses from the banditry, which has now infested into the national security agencies. For instance, the EFCC office where he was actually locked up. Now he has escaped. How do we answer to that now?
Well, I think what has happened in the last 2 days is a report card of how porous our security system is. The infrastructure is very, very poor. And for someone who has been arrested to escape this way speaks of, it's a report card actually, of how we have not taken security seriously. In fact, when I saw the report, what I said is we're not serious in Nigeria. We're not actually serious. Because I can tell you for a fact that he did not escape by himself. He didn't do that by himself. There must have been persons within the force that must have been given some money, promised certain things that caused them to make his escape even easy. How did he go past our border? So he left the apartment.
Definitely, you can't go past the border. A citizen like that who has a British Kenyan passport. Now, no disrespect to our international passport. When we open our international passport, it states there that if found, please return. Now, on a comical note, it means that that's why Nigerians are always being deported all the time, if you look at it. But for a British passport, this citizen is permitted to walk freely. So having a British citizen's passport, are we right to say he was really right to walk freely? Because definitely such a citizen cannot go through the border, but through the airspace.
So we can also say that whenever somebody is wanted in any country, there is an alert that is made available everywhere. It was the same thing with Sunday Igboho when he wanted to elude, he wanted to run away. He went to Benin Republic, and at the point of imputing his details in the system, he found out that he's a suspect. So that's how it works. Whenever you are a wanted person, you tend to have your pictures. You can't travel out because every time your name is pointed in any system, it shows that you are wanted. But this is the case. But I don't think that was the case for this man. It felt like everyone at different points of his exit they've been taken care of. So he gets here, there is a pass through. Up until the time he got into the plane, there was nobody to track him to say, this young man is needed here, is a suspect here.
He's wanted.
So he's wanted. Now, if we now say that we want them to do stuff, we need to talk about the implication of this. So first, what they have done is they've deactivated Nigerian Naira on their platform, which ensures that Nigerians cannot trade in a way. You can't trade as a Nigerian on Binance again for now. If you want to go through the normal route, then how do you melt out the punishment? I'll tell you a little about the history of Binance. Some years back when it started, it was in China. And at the time in China, it was not accepted because it was the system tended to be affecting certain policies that were on ground. So the founder of Binance left and went out. He set up in different companies, even in Taiwan, in some companies. The US at the time had not embraced it. But when he wanted to get into the US back, the founder of Binance had to organize the system enough to be able to cope with the regulations of US. So there was the agreement to say, this is how far you come. No, you're not going any further. But the thing with Nigeria is we don't have systems on ground. We tend to try to carve out a system when the issue has already boomeranged, when there are issues on ground already. But why didn't we have this policies in place before now? We're now trying to say, you're not paying this, you're not paying that. But come on.
Okay, now let's fall back to 2022, where people's accounts were being hacked. Now, the case now of alleged claims of money laundering and terrorist activities. Now, if you look at it closely, it's common knowledge now that cryptocurrency transfers can be traced or tracked. Now, if it can be traced or tracked now, when it is being used to finance terrorist activities, why? Because the naira has to be saved in crypto, and devaluing the naira, dictating rising cost of inflation and the lot and the whole lot, which was subsequently following from the fuel subsidy. My question now is, how or what measures, what policies can be addressed? Because frankly speaking, Nigeria hasn't gotten to that level where they can actually employ the use of technological gadgets to track or trace the crypto address, to know which accounts. Now, are citizens not aiding and abetting these terrorist activities with their traceless crypto transfers?
Okay, so yesterday on Morning Brief, I mentioned about e-hailing drivers threatening the Lagos State government. And it was that the Lagos State government was requesting for more information about everyone that any Uber driver carries in Lagos.
Yeah.
And it meant that, and the guys were saying, the Uber people were saying, see, every time we do stuff, every time we carry someone, at the end of the day, we send you a report of the persons we have carried. So they send to the Lagos State government how many persons Uber drivers carried today, how much was it. They send that to the Lagos State government. And then that helps them to also talk about the tax to be paid and all. So the point is, if you want to have Binance on ground, there should be policies on ground to ensure that, okay, some of the things that, whatever operation that goes on within that space, the federal government gets to know about it. So whilst they are doing stuff, every transaction that happens on Binance, the federal government knows about it. But I will tell you for a fact, Binance has been on ground for a while. This is not the first, they didn't just start this year.
So now the question now is, why now?
Why now? Why are you just talking about it now?
Does it tend to be that there's something the government has been benefiting, which they no longer benefit, or someone was benefiting something and is no longer benefiting that thing, and therefore secrets are being leaked out now?
But we see thankfully, it's a capitalist market where there's competition, all right? There's competition in the market. So there are other, you mentioned Luna and others. There are other platforms that can afford for that to happen. And when there are other platforms that can afford for that to happen, when you put down your terms and conditions, this is what we want you to do. We're not comfortable with this. We're not comfortable with this. Every transaction every conversion of naira to dollar that is used to buy cryptocurrency that is about 100 billion naira every time, you are going to report this to us. Give us an alert. If that was on ground, if Binance doesn't want to accept it, then the company will have left Nigeria since. But because it's like anybody that wants to come in here can come in and then do anything. It's when there's now an issue that we then raise an alarm. Okay, let's set up policies. Let's do this. Let's do that. But it's eating so deep. And more alarming is the amount of money that went through that platform over a year. More alarming.
Okay, now coming to the amount of which actually goes in through that particular place. We Nigerians keep complaining about the rising costs. Not just rising costs, the forex crisis and food inflation, just to mention a few which are attracting even protests as at last month from the NLC. Now, the thing is, we Nigerians, can't we start adopting the culture of patronizing made in Nigeria? Another thing is the SON. How will they come on board to actually make sure that the standard of a particular product will actually live up to the expectation of the Nigerian? Because when the standard is not even up there optimally, there's always this need for the Nigerian to revert to foreign imported products. So if we don't patronize us by boosting the naira, the crypto will continue to increase. No doubt about that. We have our own dominant crypto, which they call the e-naira. But how strong is it compared to Polkadot, the Bitcoin, or the Tether? That's another question.
Well, I would say that over time, our people don't trust what we do here. Our local products are not trusted. And a way to, listen, leadership is influence. Take it anywhere, leadership is influence. If your leaders are not buying what you have here, you want to get cast for the senator, you're importing it. You want to buy anything, you want to go for medical checkups, they're going out of the country to medical checkup. And it's not advisable. In fact, it was COVID-19 that made some politicians rethink their strategy. In that there was a time when I think there
was a global shutdown.
Global shutdown. And then is it Kyari or the man that died during COVID-19 period in Nigeria? Was taken to Lagos. And it made it clear to many politicians that you have to invest in your country. So it starts from leadership. Imagine a Dino Melaye, so somebody respected in the country, for instance, one of the senators or so, becomes the ambassador for a particular brand. Let's say Close Up. Maybe a company that makes stuff in Nigeria. Maybe Gary, but imagine Obasanjo, for instance, drinking Gary and saying, this is the guy for the people. Imagine how many persons will want to go in that line and buy more. So it starts from leadership. It doesn't matter what anybody says.
No, let's not use Obasanjo. I would think Obasanjo is an embedded leader. He's someone that if he goes for a particular summit out there, if it's ending the following hour, he's flying back to the country. He doesn't have time to book time for hotels out there. So let's probably look for, be realistic in comparability, someone who would tend to actually lounge there, particularly after the summit.
You see that? So we're saying that you want to buy anything you want to buy, the person goes to Nigeria. I saw a video of Reno Mokri yesterday, and he's been doing grow Naira buy Nigeria. Yes, it's an hashtag online.
It's a trend.
Yes, grow Naira buy Nigeria. And he was saying that from now up until maybe the end of the year, he's going to be putting on Nigerian wear. So Akara, Agbada. He got a lot of things there that Nigerians can do to ensure that they patronize their own. He said use glue. He said use glue. You know glue now. It's owned by Mr. Mike Adenoga. He said use glue. He said buy suya. Go to Tantalizer.
These are Nigerian products.
Nigerian products that can be employed, and then people can begin to see the value in our Naira. The thing is, the way to reduce the gap between dollar and Naira is to begin to reduce import. When you reduce import, what happens is you buy from what is within your geographical space. You will increase the value of your currency will increase. That's the major way. But because we are not producing so much yet, that's the reason people are importing. And by the time you keep importing, the value of dollar will keep rising against the Naira.
Okay, now falling back on this terrorist financing now. Before it begins to escalate, of course it has escalated. Just yesterday or day before yesterday, some students who were kidnapped from Kaduna have been returned or had been returned. Now my question now is, wouldn't it be advisable for the likes of the Anti-Graft Agency, the EFCC, Economic Financial Crimes Commission, to partner with the DSS and the CAC to work hand in hand jointly to make sure that things like this don't begin to bypass the nose of the government? Because a situation whereby, as far as I'm speaking, 25 million naira is just like 500 naira to Binance. Because which is actually stated by the FIRS Act, 25 million naira is actually the amount to state or dictate that a company is domiciled in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, for a cryptocurrency brand as Binance, 25 million naira is just a 500 naira card. Don't you think there should be an increased peg on that amount?
Okay, what I would like to say to that is that first, I think there should be policies on ground that ensures that something like this does not repeat itself. It's a letter to every other organization that wants to come into Nigeria to say, you're going to activate the Nigerian market. If you want to take advantage of the Nigerian market, you have to accept this offer. But again, I think we have to start from the basics. I think all of the cryptocurrency platforms have to be called into a meeting, and then certain things have to be signed going forward. And we can start from the barest minimum to say that there was a time when the federal government banned Twitter. And if you imputed twitter.com on Google, it won't take you to the platform, because all of the
redirecting DNS had cut off.
They've all been told not to activate that. So the idea is all of these cryptocurrency leaders, companies have to be called to a meeting and an agreement made as touching this. I think more than that is that one of the most critical issues that made this happen this way was when we realized that it felt like Binance was manipulating the Nigerian currency. So it felt like they were manipulating the currency on their platform. They were really increasing the amount on their platform. So every time you would see 1,700 on their platform, or sometimes once on their platform. So it felt like they were the ones now dictating the market. When the market is supposed to run on a willing buyer, willing seller basis, we're running on a demand and supply basis. I'm here, I want to buy, I'm here, I want to sell. How much do you want to sell? This is the amount I have to buy. Okay, we can't buy. Then you go to somebody else to buy from. So if we're going to give a way out of the way forward to this, is that the federal government sits down with every cryptocurrency platform that has a Nigerian audience and then have them sign a deal with certain terms written down. But again, what's the place of the EFCC? Ensuring that, I've mentioned their place, ensuring that every time a transaction goes to the account, that is a lot, just like banks have, there's an alert to the EFCC to say, these are the details of this particular company or so, person who transferred this amount of money, let's track this person. So there should be that alert immediately to that. And then also, persons who are caught wanting should be arrested, detained, questioned. I said the thing question that should happen. But again, all the Nigerian security forces also have to come into play to say that every time somebody is caught culpable, there's an alarm everywhere, all over the world. Interpol is alerted that this person is a criminal, is wanted in this country, especially when the person is now within the border of the country. Right. So all of this have to be put in place. Now, about terrorism, one of the most powerful ways of sponsoring terrorism is through money laundering. It's been proven all over the world, where you try to smuggle funds.
Meander finances.
To the particular, and then you do that, you empower people to carry arms and all of that. And listen, let me just give you this tip. Whenever there is the issue of terrorism, the world pays attention. So look at the issue of Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Every time there's a case of this person is sponsoring terrorism in a way, the world tends to listen and be at alert than they were before. So I think this is the issue. What the government should do going forward is to set up policies on ground and ensure that checks this, limits the power of Binance, limits their power in a way. And then also let people have confidence. See, the thing is, when people have confidence about the Naira or the currency of a particular country, they will not save their money there anymore. The idea is they are saving their money there to book a space so that if anything happens, so I fall back to this. That's what happened.
No, it's still on terrorism now. Won't you agree with me that it's a psychological warfare thing whereby people are easily enticed with materialism? Let's take, for instance, in the medieval era,
yes,
people were being bribed with gold or silver. That was some form of deception. Now, even in this crypto, we've never seen coins, so we just see them in pictures. Let's be frank with ourselves, and they are known as digital currency. Now, is it a function of we individuals, not Nigerians alone now, because we getting carried away by what we want or what we need or selfish desires, not to make a structure work? The government on its own part might be working hard tirelessly, and normally you're meant to spend 8 hours for your sleep, but the government limits its sleep down to probably 4 hours or 2 hours. And individuals are constraining the activities of the government with these illicit acts in the name of promoting the financing of Binance. On a conclusion now, conclusively speaking now, what would you have to say for stakeholders, that is users there or even the blockchain developers?
Well, the point is, when people get to the end of hope, they can do anything. And I think I've said it again and again that there are two things that keep people active in any country: joy and hope. But joy is built on hope. Joy in the sense that if I'm suffering now and I'm smiling, it means that I'm aware that there's a better tomorrow. And when you see people, a bike man riding his bike and he's singing and he's just enjoying himself, you can already tell that maybe his wife is pregnant at home and she's going to deliver the next day. The idea is when people are not hopeful, they can go to any length to do anything. And the idea is that anybody out there, I think it's even more on the government than the people. The point is, show confidence. Give people something to hold on to. The thing is, the government has not even helped matters. There's nothing to hold on to, actually. So if you give people something to hold on to, say, hold us to our words. And they do what they want. It could be on a short-term, medium-term, or long-term basis. Say, short-term, we're going to do this. And if you do that repeatedly, every short term, let's say 3 months, we're going to achieve this. Confidence is built. But when people feel that, see, anything that happens, I don't care in this country. Let me just take what I can take, secure the future of my children by doing that. So we cannot entirely blame the people. But again, to anybody who is watching out there and desires to add value to the country, the idea remains that we cannot leave the development of this country to the government. We all have to come together as a people to make this a possibility. In that, as the government is trying to track down Binance and to get some funds, the money they will get from them will be used to better our country, I believe. But even at that, we also have to show confidence. Buy Nigerian product, okay? Like when Omokri said, eat suya, all right? Drink zobo. Go to Tantalizer, do things, buy stuff here, and will be better for us as we go on as a country.
Pelumi has said it all. In local parlance, it is said, it go better. And the federal government is saying it remains steadfast to its commitment to ensuring compliance with tax regulations and combating financial imparity within the cryptocurrency sector. Now, hopefully, these commitments should have positive impact. I'm Odiawa AI, and the show has been Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. You will do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Veegil Media, and follow us across various media platforms. Thanks for having us and watching. Galumi.
Thank you very much for joining.